So please welcome from Fivable, Bryan Murdaugh.
I'm Bryan, and I co-founded a company called Fiveable, and we do custom software. One of the things that I've taken to recently is saying that we do software as a service as a service. Because if you're starting a SaaS company, you don't want to hire a bunch of engineers, then that's something that we can do. But I'm actually going to sort of back up from there, and I am going to get at everybody, because I like engagement. I'm going to get everybody to raise your hand. Every single person, raise your hand. Everybody raise your hand. Okay, now, I'm going to give you a date. No, keep it up. Keep the hands up. I'm going to give you a date, and I want you to put your hands down if you know what happened on this date. It's May 21st, 1980. Keep your hands up if you know what happened on that date. Man. Okay, so this is important because May 21st, 1980 is the day that The Empire Strikes Back premiered. Okay, now why this is important is because I had really just learned to walk, but I was born into a family that had sort of bought into Star Wars, okay? And I grew up in this family that had bought into Star Wars, and I kept my head sort of in space for my entire childhood. And what you probably don't know, but it's really important, is that sci-fi is a gateway drug for programming. Okay? So we're like, well, robots, I want to make a robot, I want to do that, right? So that really is how this started. So when I got to be about 9, even though I did not have a serviceable computer at my house, I started programming. So I started reading about programming, going to labs and libraries in the school and trying to, figure out what it all was all about. And then by 11, I got a computer, and then I actually was starting to do real programming sorts of things, okay? So then when I got to be 16, I started my first business, and I was basically fixing, repairing, upgrading, teaching teachers about their computers. I had a business partner. We were an S-Corp. We went to the whole 9. I actually ran that business all the way through the rest of high school and until I graduated from the university here. And every summer, while I was doing that, I actually went to New York and I worked in internships every summer for a company that did management and consulting, like management and technology consulting and training. So I spent a lot of time teaching, investment bankers near retirement how to double-click a mouse, and building Excel spreadsheets that had Visual Basic code behind them that was doing data analysis, and then walking into a ton of meetings on Madison Avenue and Wall Street being told, remember, Bryan, you're not 16. So a lot of time doing that. I worked for manufacturing companies and just always spent time doing internships. I thought that was a really important way for me to get out ahead of everybody else who was wanting to sort of get into this quasi-nerdy, almost cool kind of thing. It was definitely not cool to do anything technology-oriented. I look at my kids now and I think, man, they don't beat you up for carrying around this supercomputer in your pocket all day at school. As soon as I graduated from college, I went to work for IBM in Raleigh, North Carolina. I was there just over a year. I could not find meaning at IBM. Nothing wrong with IBM. Nobody ever got fired for hiring Big Blue, right? But I couldn't find meaning, sort of felt like a cog there. I was newly married, and I said to my wife, can we jump? And my wife said, yes, we can jump. Let's figure something else out. We actually moved back here. I started a business doing IT generalist stuff, just fixing networks, writing some web code, doing software, consulting, all those sorts of things. When that didn't become like a sustainable model, I kind of jumped from there. I taught for a little while. I did youth ministry. I started a real estate investment company. I actually did some traveling itinerant ministry, so traveled all over the country speaking to youth, teenagers, and just, because my faith is really important to me. Did that for a ton of time, always had freelance stuff going on. There was always a hustle. I was always starting something. Sort of that's my theme, is that, like, you got to start stuff if you want to do something, do it. I get told I tell people all the time, look, I am really into jumping and building my wings on the way down. Right? Like, I want to be smart, but at some point you have to say, no, it's time, and jump, and then find out where the wings are and just put them together. So I'm just trying to keep myself honest and make sure I don't skip anything here. So at some point, right around 8 or 9 years ago, I needed to hit reset. There were just too many things going on. So I hit the reset button, I took this contract position, and I wasn't really excited about the position that I was taking, but I knew that if I could leave the 9-to-5 stuff at the 9-to-5, then I could start this new, more concerted effort towards a venture. And so what I did is I took this contract position, and I only worked that contract until my 5 p.m. to 3 a.m. job was paying more and was paying the bills. So what I tell people is that in a little Rambler in Irmo with 3 kids sleeping across the hall, Fiveable was born. And so at first what it was me, and I had a bunch of contacts in advertising agencies, for some reason, mostly in the Triad area of North Carolina, in like Greensboro, Winston-Salem. And what I was doing is I was taking their designs and I was turning them into working web applications and code. And what I realized is they were making a lot of money on my sort of skill set. So what I started to do is think of ways that I could actually bring all of those pieces into my own shop. So I talked to one of my good buddies who I'd actually met on the first day of 3rd grade, Dave Matney, and we sort of entered into this partnership, sort of loose partnership agreement. He is still my business partner to this day. And we started building a team of people, in and out, a lot of contractors, and trying to figure out what the whole team looked like, people who were creatives, they were developers. And we started pulling in more and more projects, mostly on the content publishing and data collection side of the world. Eventually, that turned into us doing a lot more software-oriented things. So the most important part for us, like I said, when I left IBM, it was because I couldn't find meaning. I wanted to build a place to work where the meaning was there. It was fun to come into work, not all the time, because that's silly, right? But where it was, there was a lot of meaning that was being imbued into the work, and that we could stand working with each other, and that there was a lot of really interesting stuff going on. And it wasn't the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. We weren't sort of creating this cogs and machinery. So we've got creative websites, application development. I'm talking about in 1 second. But nothing we design has any meaning until it meets a human. So we're really, really emphatic about the fact that we have to build human-centric systems. So now I have, I've got 5 kids now, and the fact that I have 5 kids means that I am constantly meeting a ton of other people, right? Families, whatever, and especially young people. I'm always telling people, do the thing. They say, hey, Brian, I want to get started doing film, or I want to get started doing web or design or whatever. Do that thing. Like, do as much of it as you can on the side until you say, oh, look, now I can do this thing and I can work and I can start something. So Fiveable, my meaning and my thing is custom software, and we build custom software so that computers can do computer jobs and humans can do human jobs. Thanks.